What's up, guys? Keyshawn Uchiha here, back at you with another new alternate universe What If. Now, I know that it has been like a week past and I have not did any videos whatsoever. And I want to apologize about that, but I was at someone else's house and I really didn't have enough time because I was at someone else's house to do videos. So I'm sorry that whole week. But I will give y'all a new What If and I will be doing old What Ifs. So yeah, but this will be a new one. This will be What If Naruto was the Fairy King. Mm, nah, I haven't did Deku for a while, so this is gonna be What If Deku was the Fairy King. Um, yeah, this is gonna be a new What If. This series, like, if you want another part to this, let's give this to like 30 likes, and if you want Naruto to be the Fairy King, then let's just get this up to 50 likes, and I will do a part one of What If Naruto was the Fairy King for this one. But this will be What If Deku was the Fairy King. So how would this happen? How would this work? How will Deku be the Fairy King? And is this going to be inappropriate? Is it not? I don't know. You're just going to have to find out. But pretty much, we start off as pretty much as usual. Deku will be born, but actually, before Deku will be born, Inko will basically be, well, you could say an independent woman, pretty much working at a job. We're going to say she's a research in the forest as environment and stuff. As a scientist, she does research into the forest and all that, of trying to find a better way to make the ecosystem and stuff better. So basically, we're going to say one time as she was doing the forest by herself, she accidentally got into an accident and she ended up in the forest, knocked out. Now, this is where we're going to say the Fairy King. He pretty much flies down, well, pretty much shows himself, and pretty much walks to Inko and picks her up. Now, this is where he takes her back to the kingdom, and pretty much this is where Inko pretty much wakes up, don't know where she's at, but she realized that she's in the fairy kingdom because she did her research and heard reports of, fairies and all that. That is not quirk users, but they also live in the forest area. Now, this is where Inko's looking around and stuff, and the Fairy King, he pretty much looks at her and pretty much smiles and says, "Oh, glad you're waking, healthy." She pretty much, looks at, sorry, she pretty much looks at him and pretty much says, "Oh, who may you be?" Which he pretty much says, "Oh, me, I'm the Fairy King," which she pretty much, immediately takes a bow because she heard it's in the books, or you could say these books about fairies, that you post to kneel in front of the Fairy King. The Fairy King, he pretty much, blushes, does a little bit of a laugh and stuff, and he says, "Oh, that's not really necessary. Uh, After all, I did save your life," which Inko thanks him. Now, we're gonna do a little skip, and they're pretty much getting along, and Inko returns back now then to the Fairy Kingdom to pretty much, talk to the Fairy King and stuff, and they form off to a relationship. Now, I'm gonna say at a later point, Inko and the Fairy King did hit it off, and pretty much Inko had to, return back to her research and stuff. Now, this is where Inko was pregnant, but she really didn't tell the Fairy King that uh she was pregnant. So the Fairy King, well, he would know. You're gonna find out later on. But pretty much after that, this is where Deku will be born. Now, Deku will be born with a quirk, but he's gonna be born with a quirk, but he's not gonna be born with the doctor who took his quirk. So he will be born with a quirk, but that quirk will be later on for part two. Y'all will know about. But pretty much Deku was born with a quirk, and he also been born with the fairy gene. So Deku will be born as original, and this is where Deku will live his life as the same, but he will have a quirk. Now, this is where Bakugo will get his quirk first, and he will get his ego. But like, Bakugo is not gonna be an a-hole to Deku because, how can I say, Deku is a late bloomer. I'm gonna make him a late bloomer for this. Now, of course, this is where after, how can I say, after, like, I say time skip and Deku's a little bit older, we're gonna start him off with like one time in middle school. We're gonna say Bakugo was basically in a fight with another gang, and as he was fighting and doing explosions and stuff, I'm gonna say they was in like at a construction site, and I'm gonna say this is where they pretty much like push Bakugo off, push Bakugo off the place, and this is where he's about to fall until Deku immediately sensed that Bakugo's. We're gonna say he can seize the future a little bit, and he immediately concentrate, and he said he's not gonna make it time until he developed the wings, the fairy wings. Now this is where, as Deku activate the wings, this is where his father, the Fairy King, knows that he has an heir or a son because he felt his power. Now this is where Deku flies and catches Bakugo and told Bakugo that he told him that his quirk was in like was late for development, which Bakugo says, "Well, thank God it started now," which they begin to start laughing. Now, I guess this is where we start where Deku's at the academy and stuff. Now, this is where Deku is pretty much well, like I said, this is where Deku is pretty much is pretty much sitting in class, and his hair is long, and he has the elf ears. Well, the elf ears. Well, the you could say fairy elf ears, and he pretty much has a physique of Deku been working out. He been getting strong, but pretty much, and he has also the wings. Now his hair is long, as many of the girls really fawn over him. Like they constantly say, "Oh my God, Deku, you're so cute," and all that. Which Deku, smiles and blushes and thanks him, and he's just the sweetest person. That's his personality. He's just a sweet person. But if any of his friends is in trouble, he will give hell, you could say. Now, this is where Bakugo is pretty much sitting, well, right behind Deku, but pretty much is telling Deku, are they going to go hang out later on? Which Deku says, yeah, of course. Now, this is where the teacher walks in as original and canon and basically says, it looks like it's two people, but he doesn't throw the papers in time. Sorry about that. He doesn't throw the papers in time. He doesn't throw them this time. He just basically looks, and everybody's excited, which is pretty much two people who signed up, which is Bakugo and Deku. And pretty much after that, many of the people are saying, well, they do have the quirk they can do, like Deku. He has multiple capabilities. He can be a healer type. He could be a hero, or he can be in the middle, or he can be a hero that saves the day. Because Deku has multiple abilities, as he has healing mat, healing magic. He can also understand animals, and he can also understand the forest, as he can talk to trees and stuff. And what else? Yeah, he can fly. And I guess he can also use magic, but that's not his quirk. All right, that none of that is his quirk abilities. All right, that's just his father genes. His quirk it will be shout out in tune. But pretty much after that, this is where Deku is pretty much walking and stuff. And as he's walking, I guess this is where he's walking with Bakugo, taking a shortcut on the bridge. Now, as Bakugo's talking to Deku, this is where the Sludge Villain comes in and about to attack Deku. And Deku's about to, defend himself. Sorry if I keep saying, about to defend himself and Bakugo's about to help until the Fairy King comes in and pretty much freezes the Sludge Villain. Now, after he freezes the Sludge Villain, this is where he looks at Deku and says, "Ah, so you're the one who has my power. So that means you're my son," which Deku is saying, "Who?" And he pretty much grabs Deku and teleports him to the Fairy Kingdom. Because I'm going to say they have quick speed, but it looks like a teleport. So Deku gets teleported to the Fairy Kingdom, and Deku is pretty much confused and pretty much don't know what the hell is going on. This is where everybody, and I'm going to say the Fairy King does have family in the Fairy Kingdom, like sisters and brothers, and also like grandpa and stuff. This is where the Fairy King pretty much, teleports Deku like in the middle of the Fairy Kingdom. Yeah, and everybody's looking and saying, "Oh my God, so so it is true. You do have a successor. Oh my God, and he's cute." Which they're pretty much, running up to Deku. Some are flying to him, hugging him and stuff, and saying that he's the prince of the Fairy King. And pretty much Deku is pretty much stopping them and saying, "Wait a minute, I'm a Fairy King. Wait, I'm a Fairy Prince," which pretty much this is where the Fairy King talks to Deku, says, "Yes, son, you are my son." And pretty much this is where Deku is saying, "My mom did say My mom never told me who was my father. Even when I asked her, which this is where the Fairy King is a little bit upset and butthurt that Inko didn't say his name or anything about it. Which this is where the Fairy King tells his name, which y'all can decide in the comments what his name should be. But pretty much, this is where he's talking to Deku and showing him the family and the whole kingdom around, and that all of this will be his soon. And Deku is pretty much saying, "So you're telling me that I'm a fairy prince?" Which the Fairy King shows his wings, which this is his wings right here. Just the back wings, but he doesn't look like that. Pretty much, he's telling Deku that he has his wings and stuff, but he's stronger power. Which Deku noticed that he has been getting stronger lately and stuff, and he accidentally broke his toilet. I'm gonna say he accidentally broke the toilet one time. Mm, nah, he didn't break the toilet one time. I'm gonna say one time he actually broke his toothbrush by brushing, and he was pressing down on it a little bit, and he broke it. And I'm gonna say it's that hard toothbrush that you can't break. So yeah, that's how powerful he is for now. Pretty much this is where Deku understands and says, well, he has to head back home to his mom, which the Fairy King pretty much says, I take you there, and Deku says okay, and he gets teleported straight back to his house. Now, this is where, as he gets teleported back, this is where Inko is open up the door to take out the trash until she dropped her trash and says, "Oh, shit," which the Fairy King looks at her with a little bit of disappointment, saying, "Now, honey, did you forget to tell our son that I'm his father?" Which pretty much Inko is saying, "Yeah, I was going to tell him, but," which the Fairy King says, "But I kind of forgot." Which this is where the Fairy King gets a little bit angry and says, "All right, well, I'm not mad at you. I still love you." Which he walks up to her and kisses her in the forehead, kisses her on the lip and stuff, and Inko blushes. Now, this is where the Fairy King is asking Inko, "So, are you gonna come back? Are you gonna come to the Fairy Kingdom and stay with me?" Which Inko's saying, "I have so much research to do and stuff," and it goes on and goes on, you could say. But pretty much, Deku is pretty much, saying that he's gonna go in his room and pretty much go to sleep and wake up tomorrow to go get some training in for the hero thing, because Deku wants to become the number one hero like All Might. Which the Fairy King says that he's going to train him tomorrow at the beach too. Which Deku says, "Are you sure?" Which he says he has time. So yeah. So we're gonna skip to the next day, and pretty much Deku is going. Yeah, pretty much is going, and he's training with his dad, the Fairy King. Now, as he's training his dad, also Bakugo is there too. So yeah, this is where Deku is training with Bakugo, and Bakugo. Actually, no, I'm gonna say this is where Bakugo comes with All Might, because I'm gonna say All Might came in and Bakugo got the autograph, but also All Might saw potential in Bakugo, so he asked Bakugo would he like to become the successor. And plus, like I said, Deku is OP, so he doesn't need the one for all. Yeah, the one for all quirk. So trust me, guys. I know the anime is gonna be a little bit crazy, but he doesn't need it. Trust me. But this is where Bakugo is training with All Might and his dad, and also Bakugo. So Bakugo is gonna be a little bit stronger than his counterpart from the original canon. So yeah, they're pretty much training for that whole 12 months, if I'm correct. If I'm correct, 12 months, and Deku's pretty much learning what he can do. He learns how to teleport, or should I say, fast fly, but I'm just gonna call it teleportation. Bakugo also knows the secret that Deku is a prince of the forest, and also All Might knows, which All Might is amazed that Deku is that, and pretty much sees that Deku has potential too, and he's pretty much saying, amazing. Deku also has the potential to have the quirk all form, Deku, which which All Might says, but he has trust in Bakugo because he knows Bakugo does have a temper, but he is controlling it. He's working on it. So yeah, but pretty much they're pretty much training and stuff, and Deku and also Bakugo is lifting up the trash and stuff and cleaning the beach at the same time, and also fighting and training harder. And they use teamwork to fight against Sorry if that killed y'all ears, but hold on. Oh shit. Sorry if the video is a little cringy, guys, of me messing up, but like I said, it's been a week. So yeah. But pretty much after how can I say, after the whole like training and using teamwork to fight All Might and the Fairy King, which the Fairy King is stronger than All Might and Bakugo and Deku combined. So yeah, he's pretty powerful. I say he's powerful than All for One. He's powerful than All for One, but he won't be coming in and out in this story, unless y'all want it to be. But pretty much, this is where Deku is fighting and stuff. Uh, is fighting with his father, fighting uh well, pretty much fighting his father, and Bakugo's helping with All Might's in the sidelines helping out too with the Fairy King and trying to see how far they got. Now as they're fighting, this is where Deku pretty much uh does the hand seal. Well, not hand seal. He pretty much puts out his hand and says, light blast. Well, light beam, which pretty much he fires a light beam at his father. Which this is where All Might pretty much does a destroy smash, and it doesn't really do nothing to the light beam. So the Fairy King pretty much create a barrier to block it to help out All Might and to protect him and All Might. Which All Might pretty much saying thanks for saving me. Which the Fairy King says anytime. Which this is where Bakugo comes right behind and he merges quirk together with the All for One. I mean with the One for All, and he pretty much creates a massive explosion, which it breaks the barrier. Now, as it breaks the barrier, the Fairy King pretty much backs up and he is flying, which he pretty much is smiling, saying, look like y'all truly strong. Which pretty much Deku and All Might is smiling because Deku and Bakugo is smiling that they pretty much got strong, and All Might is also proud of Bakugo and Deku, which the Fairy King is too. Now we're gonna say the next day. This is where Deku and Bakugo is walking together to head to the pretty much the exam to do all the tests and stuff. Now everything happens the same except for the IQ thing. Deku is intelligent, so yeah, Deku is in first, beating Edon. Yeah, but the weightlifting, he pretty much passed that first stuff. Now here goes the robot snake, which we all be waiting for and see what Deku can really do. I know y'all guys been waiting for this, but pretty much this is where Deku is pretty much listening and stuff, and Bakugo is listening up too. Which this is where the guys say, "Oh, your mark, get set, go," and they start going. Now as they're going, pretty much Deku is flying, which he pretty much grabs Bakugo's hand. Well, no, he doesn't grab Bakugo's hand. Bakugo pretty much does the explosions on his feet and begins to launch himself forward. Now, this is where Deku is teleporting real. Well, you could say teleporting, but he's flying real fast, you could say. This is where he's teleporting, which I'm going to say now, is pretty much slicing robots left and right because he knows how to make some light beam blades, like a illusion light beam, and slicing things in half and stuff, and all that. This is where he thinks he has enough points until the 0 point robot comes in. Now this is where Bakugo sees the 0 point robot, 0 point robot, and Bakugo is saying, I'm gonna enjoy destroying this. This is where Deku pretty much flies up and he pretty much merged both his hands together and he pretty much says, fire meteor or chaos fireball. Because I'm gonna say some fairies we're gonna say the fairy race do have some dark elves or some dark fairies, which they can use chaotic or dark magic or black magic, you could say, or the forbidden magic. And Deku has some of those genetics. So this is where Deku pretty much formed together, create a fire chaos ball or a chaos ball. As he shoots at the 0 point robot, Bakugo is saying, "Damn it, he killed it first," which pretty much Deku saying, sorry, Kashan, but there was a girl who was in trouble. Now, this is where Bakugo's saying, and he pretty much goes trying to find another robot to destroy, a big robot to destroy, because they have a rival. Like, Bakugo and Deku do have that rivalry bond, but it's like a good robbery bond, as, they fight each other, but they fight to get stronger, and both of them want to become the number one hero, so it makes them want to get stronger and to beat the other one, you could say. Now this is where after that I'll say Deku pretty much destroys the robot and flies down and pretty much picks up Uraka. Now she's pretty much blushing and saying thank you, which Deku says he's not done yet, and pretty much kisses her on the forehead. Now, as he kissed her on the forehead, he pretty much heals all her wounds, which she's pretty much blushing and, about to pass out, which Deku says, uh, now you're all healed up and smiling. Now, of course, this is where Uraraka asks what's his name, which Deku says his name and pretty much puts her back down and flies away. Now, the next day, Deku pretty much wakes up and Deku gets first, saying that he passed, and it shows an invitation by All Might. So yeah, he goes first and he passed, and Baka goes is second. And this is like part 1 of what if Deku was a Fairy King. Like I said, get this up to 50 likes, and I will do what if Naruto was a Fairy King after tomorrow or today. But I'm Keyshawn Chia. Thanks for watching, and peace out.
It looks like you lost another one.